Well, Congress is considering a plan to cut back the U.S. cash flow to Iran. This after the Obama administration agreed to pay the country $1.7 billion in taxpayer money as part of a settlement. That is in addition to new sanction relief freeing up more than $100 billion in Iranian assets. Well, now new legislation would require Iran to pay compensation to terror victims before receiving any U.S. funds. Kansas Senator Jerry Moran, introducing that bill. He is a member of the Senate Banking Committee and the Appropriations Committee. Senator Moran, good to see you this morning.
Arthel, good to be with you. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Absolutely. I want to start with that compensation for the victims of Iranian regime terrorism before transferring any funds to the Iranian government. How do you propose connecting the dots to collect that money?
Well, as I understand, the $1.7 billion, $400 million of it is money presumably that belongs to the Iranians from money that was paid for military equipment before the Shah of Iran fell. The other is taxpayer dollars, the interest payments, $1.3 billion.
Yes.
1.3 is taxpayer dollars. My point is, it's pretty straightforward and it's pretty common sense. Why would we pay Iran money when Iran owes American citizens, through judgments entered by our courts, up to about $10 billion? One would think, common sense would say, that if we're going to pay them money, wouldn't we prioritize that we get the money that American citizens are owed from them before we transfer the dollars to Iran?
So, Senator, your bill is in contrast with the existing agreements with Iran via the nuclear deal and lifting those sanctions we just talked about, or otherwise. So tell us more about it, and how do you get around that?
Well, what I would expect is that this ought to be straightforward and common sense, ought not be a problem. It will be, but it shouldn't be, between Republicans, Democrats, conservatives, moderates, liberals, whatever the title would be. The norm would say, take care of our citizens at the same time you're negotiating to pay money to Iran. I think there are bigger issues here, a broader sense, that may be more controversial, but start with the premise that we don't give away the rights of American citizens to money that they are owed from Iran. We don't negotiate that away. We don't reduce the chances of them succeeding in getting those dollars by paying Iran money up front. Broader issues, one that will be more controversial is this a payment in return for, is it ransom for return of U.S. citizens who have been held hostage? Broader issue, should we be giving Iran any money as the terrorist nation that they are, the supporter of terrorism, the funder of terrorism that we've seen? Those are issues, unfortunately, that Congress wasn't able to address in the Iran agreement. But from my perspective, this legislation has a couple of opportunities. One, Congress could actually pass this, but more likely, the appropriation bill that funds the Secretary of State's office, that funds the Department of State, can say no money can be transferred until these other claims that benefit American citizens are resolved. Don't make this a one-sided negotiation. Take care of our own citizens before you ship off money, more money, to Iran.
So, Senator, lastly, and before we run out of time here, are you telling me that you're getting early support for this? And if it does make it into law, how do you kind of undo terms that have already been agreed to?
Well, I think this is going to be prospective, which means that there are still more money that Iran is claiming the United States owes them. So in this case, before that money is ever paid, make sure that American citizens' claims are satisfied at the same time or first. And there is support for this. Again, common sense. Although, as you know, Congress and Washington, D.C., because of the snowfall, we haven't had a lot of chance to talk about this topic. It'll be front and center as we return.
Okay, and we will be here if you want to come back and talk about it. Senator Jerry Moran, thank you very much.
Thanks, Arthel.
Sure.
You're welcome.